as we just heard from our colleagues, Entropiq have a really scaling composition, but will they be allowed to have the scaling is something that we really need to find out.
Oh, definitely we will, as we are about to jump to the Summoner Swift with the first game. It is France versus Czech Republic. Let's see who shall prevail. Honestly, when it comes to me, I am really interested to see how the top lane matchup is going to play out, because I've been hearing rumors about Robocop, and apparently he is very skilled at Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me. And in the same time, I'm really interested to see how the matchup of him against Shugenda will work out, because the man is incredibly experienced. He's been playing in so many different scenes, and I'm really interested to see how this experience goes against this sort of...
it's a little duck.
It is a little duck. Wait, do we have Flacken? We have Flacken on Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen, apparently. We have a superstar in a Kenny runner around. We have two of them, to be fair.
True that. But you saying you want to look at the top lane, I understand why, but for me, honestly, apart from the jungle, because it's going to be just so important, I want to be looking at the bot lane, because this is just the matchup that I want to be seeing accelerating in the game, because look at that, from Vitality, you have the bot lane that wants to be getting the early kills and the early advantage. Oh, no, you're just walking by. Yeah, it's exactly that. The opposite side of the bot lane just wants to be sitting there as safe as possible. Are they going to be allowed to have this safe lane? Because if you just don't allow them to sit back, farm, and enjoy their day, are they going to get to where they want to be later in the game? Are they going to be full in strength when it comes to the team fighting? Because I am pretty sure we're going to see pretty early team fights in this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised as well, judging especially by where the junglers are starting. Right. Also very interesting for me to notice is the amount of hooks that are going to connect, but it's just an ordinary trade coming in there. But I'm very interested to see how the vision war is going to play out, because if you look across the map, yes, one wall just disappeared from the side of Entropiq, but you can see that they're making sure that they know exactly where Skeens is across the map. While Ramez, I don't think he actually is spotted that much.
No, I believe he hasn't been spotted just yet, but there must be a general understanding that both of the junglers are going to have pretty similar pacing. Both of them are going to start from the top side, because as we're talking about it, bot lane just looks like a very big priority to have your eyes locked on as a jungler in the early game. For both of them, either you want to have kills happening there, or you want to make sure that they don't happen and your bot lane stays safe.
And the bot lane right now is in a very tricky situation. Entropiq's bot lane is still level 1, while level 2 already hit by the Vitality. They recognize it at level 2, yes, thank you. They're already pulling the trigger, but they can't help out the jungler, as Skeens now invades. Doesn't really get anything outside of the blue buff, I believe. No, that's his blue buff.
Yes, it's his blue buff. And he is not going to go any further, because, come on, we're talking about Trundle in the jungle in the early game. When we're talking about Viega early game, he's an excellent skirmisher, but he needs to have somebody else on his side. Whereas when we're talking about the Trundle, he doesn't need anybody. He just goes in and he's an excellent duelist on the early level, so you don't really want to be going that deep into the enemy jungle. Just check where he is, and that's fine. Go away.
It's pretty much a one-man army. Right now, we're going to see both of these junglers exchange the Scuttle Crabs. Maybe they're going to reset right after it. That might be a possibility. Or MS may try and go towards the top lane. Problem is that there's a ward there, so he spotted immediately.
Well, it's not exactly a problem. It's a thing. Oh, he's still there. He's still sitting on the top lane. Look at that.
He is. So if he's just going to go and complete his cross. Yes, he will by the looks
he
of it. But
wants
look
to
at
go.
Vitality. They're already rotating towards an early tower dive. Denik might be in a bit of trouble. Doesn't have 50% of his HP as Justin now steps forward as well. The Q is going to connect, but the teleport from Robocop instantly pulling in, making sure that First Blood will not be given away.
And don't forget that we're talking about Robocop on Kama. We're talking about full setup that wants to be running around and walking around the hyper carries on the side of Entropiq. We're talking about the team that wants to be serving as supports for one specific person. And when you're looking at Zeri, remembering all the changes that have been introduced there and remembering all the changes to everybody else, especially to Kalista, you know that Zeri is a very big potential hyper carry for the team. That's why you absolutely need to throw all your resources to the bot lane if it means keeping that Zeri safe.
Absolutely so. We've seen Zeri across multiple regions, to be fair, to be an absolute menace and just a demolisher of enemy teams. Especially I'm looking at places like VCS, Vietnamese Championship League. They have been absolutely destructive there. But Viega now on the top lane going into Kansas immediately, but he hops over the wall and he might be just in safety as Stanik flashes away. Skeens is on the chase. that he shouldn't be able to get the AD carry of Entropiq. Or maybe he should. Okay, never mind. The stun is connecting. He's still chasing him down. Landing few ultras. Congress proc. Flash forward. Kansas now in. And Danik is trying to help out his teammates. Stun is going to connect. And that hopes over the wall. Ramis now has a little bit of a reinforcement. Knock him up with the pillar. Flash forward. Gets the first blood as well. Skeens over-rotated towards an enemy jungle.
It looked like it would have been very unfortunate for Kantos, to be honest, but come on, the reaction from the rest of his team was just on point, and in the end we have one first blood, finally one kill on the side of the Trundle, which is rather big in the early game, but also we have 2 assists for both bot laners, which means we're going to have a little bit of additional oomph when it comes to the gold we have on the bot lane. We have the exchange of 2 flashes happening here. You can see Skins really wanted to go for the kill, and it's understandable because we're still talking about Zeri that we want to be shutting down, and also we're talking about Viego who can benefit rather nicely from the early game kill spot, and Exhaust is going to be propped here too. All the team members are already here to help, and boom, the first blood is not yours, Viego.
Brilliant timing from Entropiq, recognizing what is going on and helping out their AD carry. He's still falling behind just a little bit, about 13 CS at the moment behind Jaskla, but should be able to try and catch up thanks to that assist. Interesting if Entropiq is going to try to rotate towards an early dragon, since they do have the priority here, although Jacktron making sure that the vision war is on their side.
Oh yes, and if we're talking about the vision war, it's going to be rather big for both of the teams. If you want to be searching for the Zeri, if you want to make sure you will be able to lock her down later in the game, because you have tools, but you need to be able to understand where she is as Vitality, it is absolutely crucial that you place as many walls as possible, especially around the terrain where you think the fights are going to happen. Right now, it's the bot side of the map.
Q gets him from almost the middle of the lane. Aaron Gates.
Okay, solo bullet kill on the mid lane for Victor. Not too surprising considering that it's already past the ultimates available for both of them, but a rather nice one. We're going to see a siege here.
Theoretically, Skins is here. Might go for an early tower dive. Jacktron is full HP. Stepping forward. Now he's going to be stunned, but Kansas is burning. And also stunned. Oh, very low HP, but he's still alive somehow. They're going to get the kill, and Fate Score is going to get Jacktron out.
Okay. Did you see the state of a minion wave when they approached the tower? This was such a well-calculated tower dive from Vitality. They knew absolutely everything was on their side. The jungler was nowhere to be seen next to the bot lane, so you know you can go all in, and you're going to most probably get out of the turret alive.
Slicing Maelstrom, flash forward from Robocop right into it. We'll have enough damage now. Shigenda stepping forward. Nobody's going to take that kill, but it was very close for both of them. Now Jacktron actually caught in a little bit of a problematic moment, as Ramis is going to take his second kill.
I wonder what happened there, because everybody else recalled from his... No, not recall, but was trying to recall. Yes, everybody recalled, so apparently he was trying to join them as well, but... As you said, wrong place, wrong time, and boom, you give away another kill. Tell me.
He didn't recall.
Wow.
I know, right?
You're
modern
surprising me today.
Require modern solutions, but in the meantime, we're going to have an exchange of objectives. So Vitality recognize that they've lost fire on the bot lane, and they're going to pull the trigger onto the Herald. In the meantime, Trundle is just soloing the Drake.
Oh yes, and it's a Mountain Drake, a rather nice one to have in the early game. And remember, we're talking about the Drakes after they 12.14, so they're a little bit stronger than they used to be, and they give you a little bit better buffs than they used to. So right now we're talking about some additional armor and magic resist available for you for laning.
Also, do you want a little bit of an interesting personal story?
Yes, please, always.
Not only am I a shoutcaster for Rodrigo, so I'm interested to see the Polish teams play, but I also live in Czech Republic for 15 years. And that's a Czech team playing here.
Oh, so you have to be cheering for them.
I am torn. I don't know who to cheer.
Really? That's not the answer I expected. Wow.
Wow, I know, right?
Uh-huh.
Lannister send the regards, but regardless.
Oh no, he starts with the references.
They never stop. But what do we see right now on the map is actually a very interesting moment. So Entropiq now are in the lead in terms of gold. They have approximately 800 gold advantage, right? But Vitality are walking around with the Herald. They have the experience priority in the bot lane, and they have the lane priority. So should they just drop the Herald there and then continue to wreak havoc?
Quite possibly they could, actually. We're still talking about more than 3 minutes before the next Drake, so it wouldn't mean creating the terrain for it, but it would just mean pushing further, and it would mean feeding more gold into Kalista, because she already has at least, she has one turret plate from the bot lane turret, so you might want to give her some more, because with Kalista, you want to have the early game prior. You didn't give her any kills just yet, so you need to find some other ways to give her that additional goal. So that would make sense, but I wouldn't say it's the only option open for Vitality.Bee right now, because you can also try to play from the top lane. Remember that Shigenda potentially you carry for later team, and that's Cannon, potentially a carry for any team. And there is also the mid lane, but I wouldn't say that mid lane looks possible for Herald right now. It's not
really
doing
like
that well.
No. Doesn't really feel like it. I feel like for Shigenda, the most important part is going to be the Robocop. You're running into the opposite side as Skins just flashes over the wall, trying to get him down. The binding is going to connect, but it's very hard for me to see how Robocop is going to run out of it. He's going to be stunned. Deeplex walks forward, potentially getting a kill for himself, but no, Skins is just going to take it. Take the transform as well. In the meantime, Dratro pulls the trigger. Here comes the Glass Fisher as well. Fate's call to bring him out, and now he's underneath the turret. Jessica just fires away and makes sure to provide a little bit of space.
I love the immediate answer from Entropiq on the other side of the map, seeing what's happening on the top side, seeing the enemy jungle. They try to pull the trigger on the bot lane to try to put it in a more favorable situation for them, and you can see it's working.
Death Charge is now going to be used as well. Jessica takes the kill and kills Danik. Jacktroll's still alive. As Kansas, yes, he's firing away, but they can't get to them as they're way too firm underneath the wall. Jessica stepping forward, jumping onto Zeri. It's 1-on-1, double flashes, and Jessica will take it. Now it's time to kill Rames as well, but Rames will answer with a club of his own. Gets the double for himself. But now Skeens is running here as well. Will he try to push for the kill? Or will let Trundle go away? Yes. Rames will escape, but he's 4-0-0.
Ooh, that's big. Look at that Trundle already running with the Divine Sundra around. Now that exchange on the bot lane was rather interesting, I would say, because the moment Jessica started jumping around and accelerating and, you know, throwing spears at everybody, especially at Kantos, you knew what was going to happen afterwards. But the thing is, there is two good things happening on the side of Entropiq that will help them against that Kalista. One of them was dead, and we're talking about Bro, but the other one is Trundle, who slows you down. Wait for it.
Rames steps forward. Here comes the ground onto Skeens now, but it doesn't feel like okay. Jacktro gets a very good hook onto Rames. Here comes Deeplex with the Demonic Ascension double pull, and they're going to take the first one, looking for a next. Skeens turns into the Trundle, but Entropiq are way too on the retreat already, but it's a 1 kill and a shutdown.
But it's 5-5 in the end, so both teams are finally going toe-to-toe, and finally we have the Herald actually released on the bot lane, so pretty much what we expected from the very beginning, and it's the time for the Dragon, so everything just matches perfectly, so they really want to take that turret on the bot lane down.
Entropiq trying to step forward. Skeens is still here, so it's a bit of a dangerous one, but he decides to pull out of it. That troll quite low. Jessica takes a bit of damage as well. And now looking at the goal difference, it's Vitality behind the steering wheel.
Oh yes. It's 1,000 already between the teams in 13th minute. That's something you would really like to have. And I love that their goal difference mostly comes from the bot side of the map, where they have the Kalista that you want to see running around as soon as possible. She's already sitting very nice in terms of the gold compared to Countess. And that's the Kalista you want to be seeing. The problem is we're approaching 15th minute, so you need to get that Kalista accelerating right now, because otherwise you're just allowing the time for Zeri to get fully on track.
Absolutely. So already though securing quite a nice lead over his adversary in the bot lane. However, Entropiq are first to the Ocean Drake that is about to spawn. They're going to pull the trigger on him pretty much instantly, but Vitality are starting slowly to go here as well. Dragon going relatively low. Now Skins and Jacktro on one side and Deeplex on the other. Jessica now stepping forward as well. Jacktro is going to take a lot of damage. He's going to be silenced because that's the Fate's call. And Aaron just flashes away Deeplex now in the midst of it all. The Dragon went to Entropiq, but will that team fight as knock up onto Deeplex comes. He goes golden. Jexor firing away, but Danik making sure to protect his ally. Danik will stay alive, but not for long as the kills are just pouring in. Kansas will be slain by the Trundle. It's a betrayal as Entropiq fall and Vitality take almost an ace, with Robocop the only person left alive.
Okay, and it's a triple kill in the end for Viego. That is a big fight all of a sudden. That looked pretty desperate after two of your members, two of your very big carries going down. But Vitality managed to turn this around for them. They didn't get the dragon in the end. We're talking about 2 dragons on the side of Entropiq. We're also talking about 9-7 and about the first start of the game. So in the end, Vitality are coming out of whatever's happening on the map rather victoriously.
And they're accelerating their goal lead as well. It's 2.4. And if you look at that team fight, I love the spacing of Vitality. How well do they recognize where do they need to stand and who they need to focus.
I also love how they're rather on the edge, especially with sending Kalista further like that. You know she needs the space, and you're sending her in the dragon speed where she's going to be limited in her movement around the fight. So it's rather dangerous situation, but she's not allowed then. You have the whole team on her back, and because you have already so much damage and so much control against your enemies available, you just can't allow to do things like that, and you can't allow that Kalista to go down, because she's not the only thing that you have your stakes on.
It feels like a moment when Entropiq gonna have a bit of a bigger edge when it comes to those team fights is Karma joining the fray, because how much this team composition relies on that sustain of Karma, how much of it relies on Ramesh to survive through those fights. Eren goes for the crown of the what queen? It's not Dragon Queen. Which queen is that?
No. Oh. Shattered?
Shattered Queen. Thank you. It's the Shattered Queen. Right, so they want to make sure that they survive in those fights, rather just basically rolling over Vitality.
It's a rather interesting choice, because usually you would like to see more damage happening on this specific champion in your team, but here, again, it still feels like Entropiq are trying to buy time to let Azeri grow and go fully online, and she still needs 2 more items to do that, or at least 1 to be able to go further into the fights, because she's already running with Immortal Shield Bow, but we need to see at least the Fountain Dancer added to the equation. So before that, as Entropiq, you need to survive, and after that you will need her to survive, so that makes sense. And what's happening on the mid lane also might make sense, because there is no vision for Vitality here. Look at that, they don't know how many members of Entropiq are here, and look at the amount of wards on this side of the map from them. They want to have absolutely all the vision available.
How many wards do you want? Yes.
Yes.
Apparently that's the way how Entropiq are approaching this situation. As in the meantime, as we were talking, Skins also took the second Herald. Now, of course, the turret plates are down, but what allows Vitality.Bee to do is to actually try and take control over the mid lane, try to crack it open, and then have much more objective priority over the dragons. We're going to have the Cloud Soar in this game, or potentially later on Baron, because top lane now cracked open, and Shigenda is just miles ahead over Robocop.
Which means right now for Vitality, the mid lane outer turret should be a very big prio. The moment you crack it open, you have, as you just said, access to both of these objectives immediately. And you need to have it, because you need to have the prio to be the first one at the terrain. You need to be able to put the vision around it, and they're going to do exactly that. The second Herald with a lot more health available to him now before he's going to boink at the turret and still stay alive. Maybe not. Okay, fine.
Never mind. Entropiq found themselves a very good answer, so they clear it out from the open. Bot lane, though, cracked already for quite a bit of time, as Deflex takes a little bit of a priority there, and it feels like Vitality are making sure that they prep runs as soon as possible. If Entropiq take that Drake, that's third one for them. It's the soul point.
Yep.
If Vitality take it, they're delaying that a little bit longer and making sure that they're still in a leading position, because their goal lead is almost 4K.
And if you think about it, they absolutely need to delay the Elder. Let's keep that thought.
Might be in just a bit of trouble. They're trying to walk up, but Vitality is just pretty much everywhere in the jungle. Eren and Denik stepping up. That's the hook connecting. Knock up in there as well. Denik flashes away, but Skeens is still on the chase. They've taken a very good cooldown off the support of Entropiq. 30 seconds on the clock before the Cloud Drake spawns in.
So, very quickly, Vitality need to delay the Elder as much as possible, because the moment there is the Elder available for Entropiq, the moment there is that Zeri with the Elder, they will be able to immediately turn any game, no matter how far behind they're going to be able to turn that around. So for Vitality, to make sure you don't need to fight the excruciating fight for the Elder, make sure you delay it, and at the same time, deny the soul for Entropiq. It's a rather nice one still for things like Zeri, for things like Trundle. They are going to benefit from this additional burst of movement speed. So
Armor
don't give it
as
to
well.
them. Yeah, that's true.
Like
Oh, very much, yeah.
Now
She's...
Yes?
Yeah, go on.
No, she is. I'm actually interested. Would you?
Because honestly, when I was reading the changes to the Cloud Drake and the Soul, Karma is the first champion that comes to my mind, because she can prop her mantra so many times in a team fight, especially if she's lucky with hitting the enemies. She's just going to be running around like crazy.
Exactly, right? But it's not going to happen for the time being, because Vitality take full control over the bot side of the map. They take priority mid, they take priority bot, they take the Drake for themselves. Entropiq now trying to answer it with a little bit priority on the top lane. Trying to bring down the turret that is full HP, almost. Okay, not absolutely, but almost. But Vitality are already here to answer.
Yeah, and they have their Kalista here, because look at the timing for the Baron is going up right now, which means right now your eyes and your attention should be there. For Vitality, you can relax a little bit on the bot side of the map. You just delete the soul points, so you potentially could even allow the next dragon to go south. But the Baron pit is where you absolutely have to be. They could even go for an early Baron, but foremost, they need to secure the vision around it.
Whoop, Jack Shaw might be in just a bit of trouble. The stun is going to connect, but not onto him, but on Danik rather, as he's knocked up in the air, tries to get out. Here comes the Glacial Fissure, but they're not going to save the support at all, as Vitality take the first kill, maybe even more in this team fight, but Entropiq very quick to respond. They're going out of it. Exhaust now laying onto Shigenda, as Aaron steps up as well. He's still here, he's trying to run around. The binding is not going to connect.
But we still have a very tense moment. Look at this turret on the mid lane. Vitality really needed to go down. They're also putting a lot of pressure on the top side, and Shigena on the bot lane just to have some additional pressure on the other side of the map to make sure they split up Entropiq as much as possible and not allow them to go all together and defend either of the top lanes.
What a good thing lies on the side of Entropiq is that they have very good wave clear, and they're using that to their full potential, especially thanks to Aaron. Problem is, you can't defend all sides at the same second, so Robocop has to answer the problems in the bot lane. Top lane is now occupied by Kantus, who's trying to get himself into a little bit of a better position. And mid lane is still getting sieged by Vitality. They don't have their eyes for a second off the prize.
Absolutely not, and they're going to take this turret finally, which is going to allow... Skins? Okay, he found somebody.
Oh no, he's knocked up in the air again, but...
Nah, he's fine.
Rammus is just he's trying to intimidate the opponent, okay? That's the intimidation process.
But just look at skins. He's 513 already with 500 gold bounty on his head. Look at the items he's running. The Divine Sundry, which even after all the nerfs is still giving you quite some additional heal. And the chem stick. Oh, how do you call that thing?
It's the chem punk, I think.
Chem punk. I never can pronounce the name of that thing, and I guess I'll not even try anymore. But the thing is, you want to be built up to go into very prolonged team fights, making sure you provide additional damage, you have the additional healing, but they also cut that additional healing for the enemy team.
But there's also stopwatch, and now even three on the side of Vitality.
Ooh,
there is top lane stopwatch, jungle stopwatch, and support stopwatch. So knowing that all of them really like to be exposed into the action, and especially we know how important is Zhonya's for Kennen. Now, Shigenda, as soon as he gets to that Zhonya's, this is pretty much the biggest menace for Entropiq. They always have to be on alert, and they always have to clear every single ward they see, because otherwise it can be used to bring a clean ace for Vitality.
Yeah. Honestly, you can disregard Cannon as long as he doesn't have two items in his pockets, because this is his absolute power spike. The moment that Zhonya's is available, you cannot enter the team fight as the enemy team, because this Shigena is going to get into you and he's going to live through it and he's going to provide so much damage to the floor. But look at Vitality, indeed, the Baron is getting started.
Following the trigger, Robocop has the teleport available to him, so he may just as well try and jump here. Baron going down relatively quickly, but that ward is giving all the needed information. As Jack Drill steps out of it a little, Shigenda now on the flank maneuver, but here comes teleport. In the meantime, Rammus in the midst of it all flashes away. Fate Score is going to be used as well. Trundle still surviving somehow. He's healing up. As now they take the first shutdown. Vitality just fall apart, but Slicing Maelstrom is going to be used to stun 3. Kantus is now out, and the hyper carry is no more, so you can try to pull the trigger even further. Denning is running around as the spears have been pulled out of that Victor. Shigenda takes another. Vitality turned this around when it felt dire, and it's time to reset and take the Baron one more time.
The moment skins went down, it looked rather dire for Vitality, but look at how they managed to, as you just said, turn it around absolutely nicely, because, come on, Shigenda joins the fight. There is Deeplex, who's providing a lot of damage and sustainability, and slow because he's running with the real dice as the first item. There is Jeskla, who's just running around unattended by anybody from Entropiq. He deals a ton of damage, and he still leaves because, come on, I'm all Shilbo. Everybody on the side of Vitality leaves and damages, and Entropiq just cannot stop either of them or the Baron.
That puts Vitality in 5,000 gold lead, but let's take another look at this fight, because not only that survivability of Trundle is just absolutely illegal, but also the fact how quick Shigenda was to pull the trigger with Slicing Maelstrom and instantly flashing 3 members of the
It would have been even flashier if you went in together with Deeplinks, but that was flash enough as well. Come on, the moment... Again, this is Ken with... not Zhonya's, but Stopwatch, but still, the second item available to him. We can count Stopwatch at this moment because it hasn't been used just yet. But this is already the thing that just disables the team fights for you. You cannot really stop them safely anymore because he's going to go in and you will not just be able to stop him. And look at him, he's still sitting on the side lanes. Drake is gonna be taken, so now we have the 2-2 situation between the teams, but Shigenda is gonna stay on the side lanes. He has a teleport, gonna have it off cooldown probably by the time the next fight is going to be there, so that he's going to be there with the team before it happens. He's gonna help the team push. And look at what Vitality are doing. Yep. They're pushing like crazy. That bot lane,
demolishing. They're demolishing that bot lane. Entropiq was trying to find a cross-map play, but the problem is they can't match the speed of Vitality when they are miles ahead in terms of gold and have the Baron buff available to themselves as well. As even the, not the Nexus, but the inhibitor turret is about to fall. Entropiq, though, eager to pull the trigger. Rammus is going to be hooked in as Denik tries to tank as much as he can, but there's just way too much damage flying towards him. Still trying to survive, though. Mid lane is going to be preserved for the time being as Keen's retreats. And yes, Vitality couldn't push further, but it's still how many? 2 turrets that they've took, and an inhibitor now standing naked.
And this is the most important thing here, because right now with this inhibitor open for you, you can do so many things around it. Entropiq are not safe anymore, because either the moment a couple of them go down, or the moment the next Baron happens for Vitality, they could easily just go and finish the game. You need to stay at the base. You're now locked to your base as Entropiq.
Vitality are not stopping, they're pushing forward. Mid lane is sieged. Bot lane inhibitor taking quite a heavy beating thanks to ranged minions, as Shigenda and Kings are just making sure that mid lane stays pressured. Inhibitor is about to fall, and Vitality only now will disengage. They have a bit of around a quarter of a Baron left. There's no need to try to push for more. You can reset and make good use of that money, because they're 6,000 gold ahead.
Damn. How to even get around this 6,000 gold difference between the teams? Like, what is the chance for Entropiq right now to actually get back into the game? Because they're still being and are going to keep being heavily sieged by the opponent. They cannot really get safely to the objectives anymore because of how much prior they've lost around the map and how much patience they've lost as well. It's hard for them to fight because everybody on Vitality is so built up already. Look at that, we are talking about 3 Zhonyas on the side of Vitality fully completed. And on the side of Entropiq, yes, so 4 survivable items. And on the side of Entropiq, we still don't have Zeri fully itemized. She's still waiting for her IE to happen. So can you really fight? What is your winning chance? Because help me, Brillman. I'm not saying it.
Drag the time for Zeri, drag the time for Victor. Try to stay in the game for as long as possible and then rely on your carries to do something. But the problem is that Vitality are not giving you that edge.
Yeah.
They're constantly pressuring every single lane. They're constantly pressuring your existence on the Summoners Rift.
What Vitality are doing and have been doing throughout the whole game is denying the time for Entropiq. They're saying, yeah, you want to wait? Well, we're not going to let you wait at any given moment. There is always this pace dictated by Vitality. And look at that. They're not slowing down just yet. No Baron buff? It doesn't matter. We continue pushing.
And it works for them pretty much as a charm. Top lane now sieged by Jessica Jackson and Kings, and mid lane is still under pressure by Shigenda. 1:45 on the clock before the Cloud Drake is going to spawn, and 1:50 on the clock before the Baron. So this is something that you really need to look forward to, because if Entropiq don't fight for it, they may just lose. But Jackson flashes forward, Shigenda on the flying maneuver out of nowhere, and Entropiq are just falling apart because Vitality have way too much power for them. They've taken 4 out of 5. Ramesh is still alive. Yes, he is. But he's going to be chased down by Vitality. And the game is pretty much Vitality's to take at this point. Jester just styling on the Trundle, making sure that he can't do anything. It's a clean ace. And the first victory for the France representative.
18-8 is how we are finishing this game. This is an absolutely dominant victory for Vitality.Bee. They're going in, they are taking this Nexus, they are taking this game in a very